Thank you for tuning in to The Real Tea with T3. My name is Tisha Harris with Texas Trio Team, and it's the new year, and it's all very important to be thinking about your mind, body health. And so we have an amazing guest for you today. Who are you, and what keeps you busy these days?
I'm Leslie Millikin, and I'm a massage therapist. I own Millikin Massage here in Brenham.
Yeah, so you actually came from a completely different field, like as your journey of life. So what got you into becoming a massage therapist?
When I was in college, I always wanted to be a physical therapist. And back in that time frame, my dad kind of said, I really don't want you messing with men and touching men and so forth. And we were a little conservative back in the day. So instead of doing physical therapy, I got a computer science degree. And so I've been in that industry for over 20 years. And I sat in front of a computer for 20 years and had every injury related to sitting and hated how I felt. And I was finally given the opportunity to change my career. And I said, it's a little later in life. Maybe I don't want to go ahead and get a doctorate to become a physical therapist. So I chose massage therapy. And I went to school and fell in love with anatomy. And here I am, 8 years later.
So what was it growing up that you wanted to be in physical therapy? Like, was it like because you were involved in sports or just like...
Oh, no. Not involved in sports, but just I was in drill team. And I had some injuries related to that. So I guess there's that.
So you want to take like your pain and help other people?
Yes. So after I went and got my massage license, I actually studied sports massage and lymphatic drainage and certain things that I knew would help people who had gone through what I went through. Because a lot of people sit in front of a computer all day, every day. And we're always hunched over. We're on our phones. And so, I know, right?
We're all straight in our back.
Sit up straight, shall we? Yes, I think, we all have similar injuries, and that's what I focused on. I worked for a chiropractor for a couple of years, so I really focus on hip alignment, neck alignment, and the spine to make sure that, once we're all straight, our muscles can start to work.
Yeah.
Properly.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting how the universe, like, you wanted to do something and then like it was like resistance. And it was like, no, I'm literally going to lead you on a path, put you through the pain, and then you will do it.
Exactly. So full circle, the year that my dad passed, right before he passed, he had a really good conversation with me and said, you know what, Leslie, I'm so proud of you for, you helped so many people, you've gone and you have your passion in life now, and you seem really happy, and I'm very proud of you. And I was like, you didn't have to say that, but I am really grateful that you said that. It just came full circle to know that I didn't have any obstacles in the way, and I had his blessing. So
that's incredible. And, so like, is there parts of like, your dad and he passed and everything like that, is there parts of like what he's taught you over the years that help you in your business today?
Well, yes, he and my mother had an office supply and furniture store for 35 years, and it taught me about small business. And I think that's what made me independent, and I just seem to thrive when I have my own business versus working for somebody else.
Do you think that's something that's like newer age, like as far as like people like going out on their own and doing their own thing versus maybe when it was when you were a kid that it was like people, or is that something that you've just always grown up with, entrepreneurship?
I think there's more opportunities now because we are online all the time. We're doing podcasts. Who knew what that was back in the day? And I think that people recognize the opportunities out there. So I feel like there's more availability versus back in the day when I don't think we knew about all the chances we had in life to do whatever it is what we wanted and start our own business and how to do it and look it up online. And,
Right.
they weren't encyclopedias,
Right.
So,
And just having like like online, you can go up and look up anything to be in any special trade or something like that. Whereas before, like you literally would probably have to go to college or do something like that.
yes. And even then, you still don't know all the opportunities that are out there. So
That's very true. So what are some of the key things that you learned, like that you've learned over the years that are imperative, like to being a business owner and starting something on your own, even when if there is resistance from other people?
first of all, surround yourself with a good support team. And that is my family and my really close friends. And honestly, my clients. They have been amazing in teaching me things that they've gone through over the years and, just little hints here and there. And that support system is tremendous. You can't have enough.
Right. Is it something that like you're making yourself do, or it's just like, it's there and like to lean on those people? Or is it just, what does that look like for you? Like having that support system that for people that maybe don't have that?
I try to meet people as often as I can and ask questions because everybody has a different story, different experiences to bring to the table. And so you can pick and choose what they've learned and see what works for you. So, that's what I do. I don't like to meet people all the time, but I do force it sometimes.
Yeah. And I've learned that, probably the last couple years is like, we all have a story and like, we all want to share it. But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't care about our own story because they're all going through their own stuff. But I think the biggest thing that people should think about if you're wanting to grow and learn and have that sphere of people that you rely on is to ask the questions. Like always be asking rather than telling all the time.
Right. And don't be afraid to ask dumb questions. Everybody starts somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Just start asking questions and start from scratch.
Yeah.
You have to. But like I said, you still have resources online to kind of give you some direction as to what questions to ask.
Yeah. And then you can meet people online,
Yes.
like start those connections that may not necessarily be in your neck of the woods.
Yes, absolutely.
So you've got your sphere of influence that you're leaning on. What else, like as an entrepreneur, have you learned or grown from over the years? Social media? Is that what you were thinking?
No.
What?
I guess so. I feel like with small businesses especially, you really have to have a social presence. I don't necessarily. I have my business. I'm lucky to have referral business. But I am working on my social media, which is why I'm here today.
No, I was really, there are some people like in our area, not your field or anything like that, but it's like, they're the only ones doing that and they're really, really good at doing that. And so they don't need that massive amount of ad spend and things like that. And you're definitely one of those people. Like you have so many clients just because you're really darn good at what you do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Let's just shut it down. I need a massage.
Who's next?
Yeah, but I do know that like you're really, really busy in that because it's like a supply and demand thing. Like you're one of few that offer that type of service. So how are you managing that being in such high demand?
It's a struggle. It might take a little time to get onto my schedule, and I'm lucky to have an administrative assistant that helps me with the client calls and texts and questions and scheduling. But, I know people get frustrated as well, clients, when they can't come and see me immediately. And
I don't know anybody like that.
Wink, wink. But, everyone says that's a great problem to have. I'm like, but it's a problem. And I struggle with that every day. I try to come up with some other scenario of, okay, how can I get so-and-so on my schedule or add more time into my day? It's not easy to do. Sometimes it's working in the evenings or the weekends. And that's just part of being an independent contractor, your own employee.
Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
And then like you're in an industry that is very much of service and making people heal and feel better. And so that's got to do a lot of like just a lot of not damage. I'm trying to think of a better word, but just it's got to be daunting on your own physicality. So what are some remedies that you're doing to take care of yourself?
physically, because my job is very physical, I do have my physical support team, a chiropractor who does acupuncture, a massage therapist friends, my own tools that I use on myself. So self-care is a big one for me, physical self-care. But then there's the emotional side of things, because like you said, sometimes people's energy or their problems, they can reflect onto you and vice versa. And so you have to kind of block that a little bit. And, I could put a stone in my pocket to block people's energy, if you believe in that. Or, just...
I totally believe in that, but I think some people are like, that's crazy.
I know. I think it's crazy too, but I still do it.
Yeah,
if
for
it
sure.
works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
It makes me feel better.
It does. It does make me feel better. Maybe it's just a mental thing.
Yeah.
Just, I'm mentally blocking you.
And then as far as like saging and incense and all that stuff, I mean, I truly believe in that stuff.
I believe that, as soon as I open my spa that I have right now, yes, my mom and I walked through and burned some sage, and we're like, all right, we're going to start.
That's honestly something
at
we
least
did.
Be fresh, either
That's what
fresh
we
in my
did.
mind or what. Yeah.
And it's so strange that it's a conversation that we're having, is because I truly believe that the people... We had one of my dear friends that she was on the podcast a few times ago, and she's a sound therapist, and we are made of energy, and so your vibe attracts your tribe and all that stuff. So there is energy passed over. If you're in a really bad mood, I'm probably going to be in a bad mood if I let your bad mood affect me.
Exactly. That's all I mean by energy.
Yeah.
Like if you're having a bad day and you come in, you want a massage, and you're just like, well, okay, let's give you some essential oils. Give myself some as well, just to make sure that, hey, we're all feeling happy when we leave.
Yeah. And then as far as the smells and things like that from essential oils, it can just have a calming, is there a name? I feel like there's a name for that. It's a calming that comes over, if there's lavender or eucalyptus, what are some other ones that I'm trying to think of? Frankincense.
Yes, they all help. Calm you down, whether it's the scent or just the process of putting it on your skin, wherever that may be, on your wrist,
the
on
nurturing,
your neck, and
yeah,
just comforting, calming yourself down.
Do you think that it has anything to do with maybe bringing triggering memories?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, smells can absolutely trigger memories, just like songs can.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still smell the cafeteria from elementary school. That's not a good one. But yes, I do think that the smells do, it helps calm you down. I'm lucky to have, extra special calming effects in my facility too, with my beautiful Himalayan salt wall. So
I
that
love
is
it.
Another one that really people walk in and they just take a deep breath and go, I'm good now.
So what are your insights into Himalayan salt and how salt can affect the body, whether intaking it by breath or just having it, if you have a Himalayan salt lamp, right here, yeah.
Good for you, actually. The heat that a lamp or my wall that has a light behind it, the heat that comes from the salt, it goes through there and it emits positive ions in the air, and it helps negate the negative ions that we get from electronics, our phones, the television, our speakers, whatever, headphones, So it's supposed to negate that. And the ions in the air are also really good for breathing. If you have asthma or, any lung issues going on, it's supposed to help with that, and your skin. So it's got a lot of healing benefits.
Yeah.
Besides just looking pretty and making you calm. There's other ones too.
Everyone should get a Himalayan salt lamp.
That's right. At least one.
Yeah. So as far as, and me and you had talked about it before, but it's just what is that feeling whenever someone gets out of off in your space and you went through that like a session with them, and they are just like a completely different person than they walked in? What does that give to you?
Oh my gosh, that's one of the reasons I do what I do. It makes me feel better to help other people feel better. They don't always leave feeling great. Most of them do. Sometimes I, quote unquote, stir the beehive if you've got an injury and we're working on that area. So it might take a day or so for things to settle down. But usually I get a text or a call that says, I feel so much better, the next day or even the day of. And I finally slept through the night, or, I can stand up straight.
Right.
So that, to me, that is my satisfaction. That's my joy. That's why I do what I do. I love it.
Making people better. And then as far as commonalities, like, do you ever have like whenever your clients, like long-term or new clients that come in and it's like the same part of the body, it's like maybe on a collective level or environmental level, for like that they're just like, it's like, nope, my shoulders and my neck hurts every single time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there trends that happen with the body?
Absolutely. If we don't change our habits and we keep sleeping in the same position over and over again, or sitting in the same position over and over again, yeah, your muscles are going to revert back to being in that locked, wrong position. And we're just going to keep having those repetitive injuries.
Yeah. And I one of the things that I'll never forget with you was there was a spot and you're like, and it was like something really weird. It was like in a really weird spot and you're like, that little, like a pressure point or something like that. And it like alleviated the other side of the body.
Yes.
And then I was like, you need to just tattoo right there. And then so when somebody pushes on it, like, it's like, okay, that's all that was.
That's the one. That's my spot.
So what are some insights into that of like, it could be like an easy pressure point for folks, like that you may be hurting somewhere, but it could be something completely different.
There's a lot of that happens. So a lot of my clients, like I said, they sit all day or stand on concrete all day. That's hard on the legs and the hips. And so a lot of people come in with lower back pain. And they're like, oh, it hurts way back here on the low back. And I'm like, yeah, but I think the problem's in the front of your hip, not in the back of your hip. So I talk them through what I'm going to do to them and how the body works and where the muscles cross through the hip area. And we work through those front muscles, and they're like, I had no idea it was tied to my low back. I'm like, yes. So if you're sitting for long periods of time, you need to massage the front of your thighs. Just rub it on out.
Okay, so what's the poster in your suite? Like,
you love my poster, don't you? So specifically for that example, it is the psoas muscle. So it's a picture of a skeleton doing a stretch and showing the actual psoas muscle that is attached to the inside of your low back, and it comes through the front of your hip. And so it literally goes through the middle of your body. And it is the muscle that raises your knee up. So when you sit and you're in the 90-degree angle like we're doing right now, and you sit there for hours on end, and you try to stand up and you're like, oh, my back is killing me. That muscle is the one that's stuck in that 90-degree angle, and it struggles to stretch out when you stand up. But after you walk for a little bit, then it feels a little bit better. And so my cute little poster with the skeleton and its muscles says, psoas, I was saying, because nobody knows how to spell psoas, but it's with a P, S-O-A-S. There we go. So as I was saying, and that's just a reminder to stretch that muscle.
Well, you got to think about it. It's not just sitting at your desk or anything like that. Like, you're sitting to have lunch with people, and then you're in your car. My biggest thing is in my car.
A lot of people, realtors especially, you guys are stuck in your cars all day, every day, and all weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like, it's just sitting hurts me, but then to think about walking it out, like, hurts even more.
Yes. My truck drivers have the same issues. So yeah, I have a lot of people with the low back issues.
So we're rubbing our upper legs.
We are.
What else are we doing to make it better?
We're sitting up straight. Let's do that again.
Okay. We're going to look like nut jobs.
Rolling our shoulders back. And that's a big one, keeping them back and down. But I struggle all the time. My job, I'm always, I've got my shoulders rolled forward, and that gives me issues with my shoulders. So when I have issues, I learn about it, and I bring it back to you guys and try to help you guys. We'll learn together.
And it's not just, yes, you're working really hard, but you have amazing tools too. So can you talk about any of those?
Yes. So some of the tools that I use are called Graston technique tools, and people call them scrapers, and I think of them as meat tenderizers, and I'm sure Graston would not love me saying that. But
You're from Brenham, it's okay.
It's okay. There's tissue that connects the muscles and the organs all together. It's called fascial tissue. And sometimes it's harder to get the knots out of that area with your fingers and your hands and your elbows than it is to use these scraping tools. So, I incorporate that into my massages most of the time, and people respond really well, and the range of motion increases incredibly. So I can do movement and scrape at the same time and get, much more effective with the release of the muscles.
Yeah, so it's like, like almost like I've had the experience before. I'm like, well, it's like you have like 5 hands like going at the same time, like one on my shoulder and like right here. It's cool.
Yeah.
So as far as you, and like you said, it's a lot of work for you. Is there anything, like you've got your team of people, but is there anything just like that you're having to do on a daily basis, like for your own self-care, like in between meeting people? Because I know like for us, like we'll meet with one client and that's one emotional state, and then you're stepping into the next. And so you have to kind of like step into that role. So what are you doing for yourself?
That's a good question. I don't always take care of that. I'm just like everybody else. No, I try to stretch in between massages to calm me down, maybe make that energy go away a little bit from the previous client. Or, I'll walk on a treadmill, I'll, do some stretchy bands and just try to, reset my mind and my body. And I will use my essential oils and I will sniff those, or I'll just, put them on my chin or neck or something where I can just breathe a little bit different smell to calm me down.
What is it called? I cannot believe I'm not thinking it. It's like tapping, but you're hitting like, do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know.
Do you know that?
It's tapping.
I know, but what is it that you're hitting? Like you can do it here and here. Mm-hmm. It has a name.
It does. EFT is what it is, but I don't know what it stands for. So
okay,
I know other people who do.
We'll have them on.
But no, it is the sequence of tapping, in different places and for different periods of time is supposed to calm the nervous system down.
Right.
And that's part of it. In fact, getting muscles to release and getting the knots out of the muscles is more about the brain, the mind-body connection than anything. It's talking to the brain to say, okay, it's all right for us to go into this space and reset it and loosen up the muscles, such as the psoas muscle. A lot of times, it takes a minute or 2 or 5 to get it released, but it's just calming the nervous system down so that the muscles can do what they need to do.
Do you think just because of the way that society is today that a lot of people have like their nervous system and they're like they're in fight or flight?
Absolutely. Most of my clients. I rarely have somebody who comes in and actually falls asleep. They're just constantly, shoulders to the ears, just trying to hold on to whatever stress. And as I'm working on them, they'll relax for a second, but then they'll be right back to that fight or flight mode. I'm like, all right, let's take some deep breaths, and we try to work through it. But yes, we are always, it seems like we're all in that constant state of anxiety.
Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts? Like, what are some things like that you see things, but what are some tips that you could give to others besides like, maybe just the positioning, but maybe as far as nutrition and wellness?
Well, I think everybody knows what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to eat, a clean diet and not drink alcohol very much, or smoke or do all those things. But it's in this society, and it's hard not to do some of those things. We just came over the holidays and we all indulged a lot more than we normally do. And so now we're all resetting our minds again to try to, get back into shape. But it's with all those other things, movement is key with the body. And whether it's just a little bit of movement or a lot of movement, whatever you can do. If you are immobile, you can't walk very well, there's other things you can do. There's chair exercises you can do, just simple stretching. Breathing is a huge one. And definitely, like I said, nutrition is always important. And supplements. We don't have a lot of good nutrition in our diet here in America, and it's I hope that changes. But, until then, we need to really look at vitamins that actually absorb into your body. So you need to research that. A lot of people say, oh, my vitamin D is low. And I'm like, well, yeah, you can take a vitamin D tablet if you'd like, but is it mixed with vitamin K? Because it's the vitamin K that allows your body to absorb it. So I feel like, we struggle because we're not given all the tools that we need. We have to go above and beyond to try to fill in those vitamins, the minerals, the acids that our body actually needs. So you have to kind of really research what your body is doing, get it tested for, what you're lacking in, and then, try to hit those spots and improve them.
Right. So as far as what you are implementing in your business, how are you coming up with like new innovative ways like to upgrade or to add on into like what you're doing to help people feel better every day?
I think it just, in my field, it depends on your passion. When it was about 4 years ago, I did an event where I went to a hospital, and it was a cancer center, and it was a Pamper Yourself night, and it was on Valentine's Day. And a lot of the women there had breast cancer, and they were survivors, or they're going through the treatments and whatnot. And it was so moving to me to just touch these women. I would put my hands on them, and I could feel the energy between them and between us. I'd feel the instant relaxation on them. No one touches them when they're going through cancer treatment, and hugs are rare, and people are afraid to touch them, and you can just see it, feel it, and it just moved me so much that after that event that night, I sat in the parking lot of the hospital, and I looked up training on how to do lymphatic drainage, which was a big one, and oncology massage. And so it just, that's what got to me. It moved me so much. I mean, I have the chills right now just thinking about that moment. It just hit me, okay, this is what I need to be doing. Does that mean that all massage therapists need to do it? No, but that was something that moved me.
It was the universe nudging you a little more of like,
Yes.
you're on the right track, my friend.
Exactly. So yeah, I invested in that, and I've never looked back. That is some of my favorite work to do.
So talk about the lymphatic system, like things that you've gained insight on over the years.
So your lymphatic system is your immune system, basically. And as I'm sitting here kind of, scrunched
You're slouched over. You need to rub your legs.
I know, I need to rub my legs. We have lymph nodes all throughout our bodies. And when people have surgeries, from whatever, some of those lymph nodes can be compromised. They can be taken out to be tested for, cancer. They can be, just injured from surgery and whatnot. And so a lot of times, let's say, we'll go back to the example of breast cancer. Women have surgery on their breasts, removal, whatever, and the lymph nodes get compromised underneath the armpit. There's big clusters right there. And so if those are compromised, and we know they are because they remove the lymph nodes to test them to see how far back the cancer goes, the lymphatic system isn't always smart enough to flush out the whole body like it needs to. So you will have lymphedema. So an arm will swell up, or your leg will swell up. And
sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt,
no,
but I'm just curious. Like the lymphatic system is basically like triggering, like, so you have like a brain recognition of like there's something off and it needs to be addressed.
Yes, and sometimes we need to do what we call manual lymph drainage, and that's where I actually will move the lymphatic fluid from the arm past that blockage and maybe go to the other side of the body or down, to your hip area, just to bypass that area and to relieve that fluid buildup that has happened. So it's pretty powerful.
So like, I know if like my kids or if I like have a sore throat, like you can, that's what the doctors are feeling is the lymphatic system right near the throat.
Right, underneath the earlobes. And so in my studies of the lymphatic system, I have learned that a third of your lymph nodes are from the collarbone up. So if you do lymphatic drainage on your head and neck every day, you're going to be doing some really powerful work to your own self. And you can help clear out those sinuses and clear out any swelling when you wake up with puffy eyes in the morning, and you can just drain your face and ease that up.
And then as like lymphatic, like any of the work that you're doing, it's very gentle, right?
It is.
It's not that deep tissue massage.
Not at all. In fact, some people don't like it because it is such a soft touch. It's really about moving the skin, because the lymphatic system sits between the skin and the muscles. So you don't have to push very hard. It's more about moving the skin and what we say pumping the lymphatic system, just to make sure that it's going in the right direction, because everything flows to the heart, and all the lymphatic fluid buildup, it goes to the heart, and the body is smart enough to reuse what it needs to, but it gets rid of the fluid, through urine.
Yeah, lots of water.
Lots of water. Drink lots of water when you have that done.
Green tea.
And green tea, really good for you.
Mm-hmm.
In so many ways. But that's what that does for your body.
Cool. So do you care to share like a couple techniques, like for if they want to wake up in the morning, that they could do? Like, or is it just like across the eyes?
Yeah. So what you do is you start with the neck, because like I said, everything goes to the heart. So we clear out sections of your lymphatic system that are closest to your heart first. And then we go away from that area and filter into what we just emptied out that goes to the heart. So it's like a backwards from the heart kind of thing. And so in the mornings, if we just rub our collarbones and just kind of tap them like you were talking about earlier, yes, it stimulates the nerves here as well. And then I just kind of brush it down towards the heart is what I'm doing. And then I'll go up the neck and do the same thing, just a really light, like I said, we're not massaging. We're just barely moving the skin.
Don't strangle your husband. Don't do it. You're giving lymphatic massage.
I can't even respond to that. Okay, so we go back up to the ears, and it's hard to do with the microphones here, but I'm going to move this one.
Okay.
And if you put, like you do the Dr. Spock kind of thing, where you put fingers in front and behind the ear, and you just kind of just barely lightly do this, it actually, this is a big cluster of lymph nodes, and this is a big one, where you just kind of, take that and rub it out just very lightly, and then you bring it down your neck and back to the collarbone area where we started.
Cool.
And you just can keep doing that from the middle of your face, and you just kind of go out.
Is that kind of like an instant improvement, or it's just like maintenance?
Instant improvement. And I know people who do it every day. They have their gua sha tools, which are the little stone type of scrapers, if you will, and they have some contouring where you can go above your cheekbone, below your cheekbone, and right here on your jawline as well, and through the eyes, but just know that there's a line in the middle of your face, and just everything goes out towards your ears and down your neck.
Cool.
It is cool. Makes you feel good.
You have a really cool job, Leslie.
I do. It's fun.
Are you always learning new things, though?
I constantly am learning. We have to have our CEUs as well. Every 2 years we have to have 12 hours of that, and so I'm constantly learning, but I'm learning what I want to learn. So like lymphatic drainage was a big one for me.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, where you are today, it's not where you came from, but if you could tell 5-year-old Leslie something that she should know, what would it be?
Wow, that's a deep one. Maybe don't be afraid to try new things. I think that's very important. I think, like I said, I grew up a few years ago, and things were more conservative back then. And now I have so many more opportunities to do, zip lining, whatever it may be.
What?
I'm learning this summer. You're
going to go zip line?
I'm going to go zip line. You want to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually been a really big dream of mine.
Okay, let's do it together. But yeah.
So you're going to do like a little, like one little thing, or are you going to do like a whole course?
Whole course. Bring it on. Let's do it.
Where are we going?
I don't know. But there's places here in Texas.
Yes.
So we're going to do it.
Deal. Okay.
Okay, just so the audience knows, I am here and I want in on this. Okay? Just saying.
Anyone else who wants to come? Let's do it.
That's so cool. There is a couple courses, but it's kind of like, they have just like a couple acres that they've done off. And I'm like, man, I want to go through like a national forest.
Yeah, maybe we should start small and build up to that. Just saying.
We're going to try new things.
We are. I'm not sure about going over like a creek and looking down. Oh, yeah.
We'll start small.
We'll get there.
We'll start small. I love this so much. No, that's something actually, I think that is so cool, to be adventurous and to try new things like that.
Yes. Get out of your box. If we get stuck in our little box, we can't learn new things. And I came across a quote just this weekend that reminded me of it. It says, "Nothing changes if nothing changes." So you can stay in that little box all you want, or you can open that box and see what you're capable of.
Yeah, I love that. And then something that I always think to myself is like, you'll never know if you don't try. And so it looks really pretty like over there, but if you're not even going to take the step to do that, then you really have no idea.
Exactly. Now, I will say I will not do sports. Like, I'm not really
You don't
good
want
at
to rugby?
sports. I'm just, no. I'll try, but I'm really, I don't have some skills, and I'm okay to admit that. But ziplining, I'm all over that one.
Okay, yeah, I love it. Yeah, we'll do it a few times. You'll be like, okay, let's try this. Let's go do this.
Yes.
I love it. Scuba diving?
I would do it. My family's done it, so I figure if they can do it, I can.
Yeah. I'm always just nervous. Like, there's places you can learn to scuba dive, but then I was just like, what happens if you actually get in the ocean? Like, I feel like I would want a guide.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to be alone doing that. That would be later down the line. Let's zip line
Jumping
first.
out of a plane. Not there,
No.
but we'll zip line.
Yeah, we'll zip line. No, not going to do the plane.
Michelle on our team has jumped out of a plane. Like, every time her kid, am I right? Every time her kid graduated, one of her children, every time they graduated high school, they jumped out of a plane together.
Good for her. That's awesome. You go, girl.
She's not afraid to try.
Yeah, exactly. That's the motto. That's a theme here.
Yes. So what are some things that you're looking forward to in 2025?
I am looking to do a lot of self-care. I'm going to buy a house this year.
Yay.
Yay. And, just improve my business as best as I can and try new things and keep my clients happy and spend a lot more time with my family.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So if people want to reach out to you, maybe have questions, like if you could help them, maybe if they're not even in our area, but of like, hey, I've got this problem, any recommendations, how can they find you?
They can call or text our main number.
We'll put it in the description.
Thank you. Like, where does that go? And I have my website that is about to be finished this weekend. That's my first goal.
It's so hard to, like you're in the business of serving others and helping others, like to do the back end administration stuff and like get techie and all that. Like, it's a lot.
It is a lot. And, the finances and everything that goes with it, the location and just
all of it.
All of it. It's a lot. But to me, it's worth it. I'm exhausted at the end of the day, and I'm doing laundry until the wee hours of the night, which is okay.
Yeah.
All those sheets and towels have to be, dealt with. But it's worth it. I just love going to work every day.
When you wake up, it's joyful to go do what you do.
It is. Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts that you want to share before we sign off?
I don't think so, but thank you for having me. I
Of
really
course.
appreciate it.
Of course.
This was fun, like you said.
I told you. So thank you for tuning in today. We hope that we were able to help you with your mind, body, and wellness. And if you want to reach out to Leslie, check out the information in the description below. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay tuned and get all the information from us. You can find us at texastrioteam.com. Take care and keep living your best life.
My gosh, that's funny.
It wasn't so bad, huh?
No.